Hey guys, and welcome to a showdown between two fearsome competitors. On the left-hand side, representing the Von Karstein clan, it is Human Boy Yes, up against Krakadrin's very own Charix. Now, this was from a live stream I did a little while ago, where I was force-picking players' legendary lords for them. So I picked their faction and their legendary lords. So some of these guys aren't necessarily Dowie mains or Vampire Count mains, and it made for some really interesting matchups. I believe it's actually my birthday stream a little while ago, so feel free to go check that out if you want to see more games like this one. But anyway, on to the battlefield. For the forces of the Vampire Counts, it isn't really a Vampire Count build unless you have a bucket ton of zombies, and that's just what we have. So a load of zombies dotted all the way through the front line, backed up though by some ethereal units. Now, ethereal units have their pros and cons versus the Dwarfs. They're very, very sticky for them to deal with, but of course, due to the magic resistance Dwarfs get, they also can't dish out too much pain. So we do have some Cane Raves. It looks like double on this right-hand flank and a single unit on the far side. They do have relatively decent AP, so you hope that kind of counteracts the fact that they do that magic damage. We also have the Sternsman on the right-hand side, a staple in the majority of Vampire Count builds, and then Graveguard dotted all the way along. Got a couple of units of Fellbats up in the skies to harass the enemy back line. We have a Necromancer down on the ground, supported by a Banshee. So Banshees are an interesting one. We've seen them kind of completely fall off the meta recently, which is, kind of a little bit of a shame, because they've got some pretty cool models and so forth. But the White King just is almost superior to them in every way it would seem. She's going to be coming in with the Screaming Banner, which is, negative leadership. It helps the Dwarfs. If you can nuke their leadership somehow, it's really good, because when they break, they're quite easy to chase down. We do have the lovely Isabella von Karstein leading the battle line on foot here. Not the best pick up against the Dwarfs, but hey, I was feeling evil, and I gave these guys sub-factions. She's coming in with the Blood Chalice of Bathroy, is how we're going to pronounce it, but basically a massive, massive regeneration. 2,496 hit points is quite crazy. We have the Master of Beguilement as well, negative 40 melee attack is always nice. Red Fury, Wind of Death, as well as Raise Dead. I don't think we have Invocation of Heck, which is kind of crazy. You almost always see Invocation of Heck brought. Maybe it's on the Necromancer? No, doesn't look like it. Okay, so no healing here for the Ethereal Undead. For the forces of the Dowie, they are doing some Dowie geometry up here on the high ground, and we have Dwarf Warriors. We have Dwarf Warriors, and we have, you guessed it, even more Dwarf Warriors. These ones are the Regiment of Renown, and their beautiful colour scheme fits in with Krakadrin's, and I must say, Krakadrin's colour scheme is by far the best out of all of the Dwarfs, in my opinion. The red and gold, it is so freaking badass. We have the Norglin Ironbreakers here in the central pocket, and do we have more Ironbreakers as well? We do, so it's 2 units of Ironbreakers, one of which is Regiment Renowned, with Ekron Miners in the central pocket, Double Thunderers, and the Iron Drakes with Trollhammer Torpedoes. A glorious little hero core. We do, of course, have Ungrim Ironfist, the Slayer King himself, and it looks like he's going to have his work cut out, though, to be the best Slayer on the battlefield, because we also have Gotrek here, a little bit of a competition between the two. Take your votes now, comment down below at this point of the battle, who you think is going to get more damage value, Ungrim or Gotrek. We also have a Runesmith in the center. It's kind of cool to see a Runesmith in action. Don't get to see them terribly often. He's coming in with the Iron Warden's Shield, Rune of Negation, Rune of Wrath and Ruin, and Rune of Slowness. Due to Thoric Ironbound being so popular, I basically never get to see Runesmith, so I'm actually relatively excited to see how he performs today. Vampire Counts shall be advancing, the zombies slumberously and bumberously just waddling forward, ready to eat as many enemy blasting charges as possible. So if they can absorb the Ironbreaker blasting charges, that's good news for all this Graveguard in the back. Fellbats simply floating out on the wings right now. We've got 3 units total. They're going to want to bomb rush those Thunderers as quickly as possible, but I actually quite like this Vampire Count build. There's no huge targets for the gunners to really punish. Likewise, though, that does mean that you don't have the best amount of troops to cycle charge the Dwarfs into submission in the form of Vargulfs, Dragons, and so on. However, the Cane Wraiths hopefully will be able to grind through a lot of the Dowie folk. I'm a little bit worried, though, on how he's going to deal with the Ironbreakers. We'll have to wait and see. First salvo of torpedoes have been launched into the ranks of the zombies. Rotting flesh, you can smell it from here. It is getting splattered all over the battlefield. Again, though, it's zombies. They're kind of born to die. The Dwarfs are going to advance up a little bit as well to meet their foe in hand-to-hand combat. And the zombies are going to start to do that pretty massive charge bonus of theirs of 3. Straight in to the Dwarf Warriors, who simply take the charge. It doesn't really mean too much to them. So they're going to absorb it and just start cutting back. We do have flaming axes here. So should be able to sear the rotten flesh relatively quickly here, though the stench will probably be quite bad. Then you can see the Ekron Miners and the Ironbreakers are holding firm on the ammunition, not wasting any throwing shots yet, saving them for the Graveguard to engage. Really good top tier play right here, and you can see as soon as the Graveguard come in range, Ekron Miners are activated, a load of shots are launched up and over into the Graveguard. Not doing the most damage, but hey, damage is damage, and you're going to have to grind down these Graveguard one way or another. We're about to see the first big wind of death go down. Unfortunately, it's using these back troops like Thunderers, and it is going to completely miss. It might actually catch some friendly troops. No, oh no, it does. It kills some zombies. Hey, at least you got some damage. I think that spell would have been better on the front line, where the Dwarfs had to turn around to run away to get out of the way, and the Dwarfs aren't very mobile. So kind of if you can force opponent to swivel and run away, you can often catch them with burning heads and other spells like that. Norgren Ironbreakers are launching blasting charges into the Graveguard now over top of the Dwarf Warrior heads. Really good play, up to 5 kills already and doing massive HP. Felbats are doing a little bit of a rave party down here on top of the Thunderers, just harassing them and shutting them down as much as possible and stopping them from firing, which is very, very key here. The Hero Core is slowly moving after the Banshee. Of course, we have the magic damage of Gotrek, which would be really nice right now to drag her down. She's going to sliver and slide her way to freedom, however, and flee between the ranks of the Graveguard, who are suffering right now under the axes of the Dwarf Warriors. Isabella's doing a decent job, only up to 2 kills though of her miss of her spell. She's gone as far away from the dwarf characters as possible, and is going to be using herself to harass the back line. You can see the Thunderers are being pushed back now. Necromancer is tapping his Forbidden Rod and driving into the heart of this Dowie force, and there's not that many places the Dowie can run. We have Cane Rifes who have whipped round the flanks, starting to do some nice AP damage to these Dwarf Warriors, and a lot of the Thunderers and other beat-up units will start to tear out and run away. Necromancer is being chased away by Gotrek, one of the few units Gotrek can capture with a good old charge animation, but a lovely zombie summon should be enough to pin him in place and buy time for the Necromancer once again to retreat and fall back. Isabella finds herself in a bit of a sticky situation. Ungrim has come hunting her down, and he is using his mighty axe to try to take her head from her shoulders. She does pop her potion there, but a Rune of Slowness goes down on her. That's going to be slowing her down quite a bit, and the Runesmith's even getting in there with his hammer, getting 1 or 2 licks in, but she's falling back through friendly troops, and it looks like she should just about be able to escape here. The Red Ruin and Axedago has been popped. Can he get another big hit in? He does, straight into her back, and she is now already at her healing cap, though there is a bit of a Banshee here for support. Felbats in the skies are being used to chase off routing units. This is really beautiful play. Unfortunately, though, this unit of Felbats looks like they may actually crumble before they're able to chase off these Thunderers, and he needs to get rid of them. That long-range AP can be devastating to his characters, his Graveguard, and his Necromancer. Cane Wraiths have been in combat for an absolute eon up against Norgren and Ironbreakers, and just neither is doing basically any damage to each other. The magic resistance and the high just defensive stats of the Ironbreakers is enabling them to hold firm, but likewise the ethereal state of the Cane Wraiths is making it pretty hard for the Ironbreakers to hit back. So an absolute draw here in the middle. Would love to see another Wind of Death go down. Thunderers are unleashing some shots. They have rallied and they're focusing down Isabella, which is a really good target. She's not that tanky, only 90 armor, 1,900 HP remains, and she has reached her healing cap. So if they can kill her and focus her down, that's going to be all good. Now the Dwarfs do come in with a Rune of Wrath and Ruin, doing some really solid damage to the Graveguard. Sternsmen eat it like champs though, and the Ironbreakers are now surrounded on all fronts. Cane Wraiths moving their ethereal blades through the air and through the Ironbreakers. I wonder how their blades actually work. Okay, looks like they're not ethereal. It'd be really cool if they could like go through the armor and then like become matter again and actually like stab into the dwarfs. Dwarf Warriors are falling back, Felbats are escorting them from the battlefield, but that unit of Thunderers did return, and this is big problems. These units of Thunderers, still active on the edge of the battle, can really start laying a whipping down on this Vampire Count build. Unfortunately for Gotrek, he is taking quite a bit of damage. He has popped Gotrek's Doom, and he's a Slayer, so he wants to die, but he doesn't want to die to Graveguard and zombies. You need to give him a very heroic enemy to go down against. Now, the Legendary Ungrim is doing absolutely fine, up to 23 kills against the 36, I believe, of Gotrek. No, Gotrek's on 85 kills. Jeez. Gotrek is certainly outdoing Ungrim at the moment, but maybe Ungrim's playing the long game here and going to be going after some of the bigger and more impressive targets. Ironbreakers do finally crumble. Look how many units it took them to break them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And they didn't even break them. They tear out it and they came straight back. The Ironbreakers, they're not going anywhere. And they're up to 90 kills as well. Over in the eternal fight between the Ironbreakers and the Cane Wraiths, not too much has changed. They've both taken a little bit of damage. Now, though, the Ironbreakers are surrounded by some returning troops of the Graveguard. Zombie Summon is being used just to keep the Thunderers busy, keep them on their toes, and keep them running away. Fellbats do come down to swoop upon the Thunderers, but due to having relatively decent defensive stats, as well as 80 armor, they actually are able to beat back the Fellbats, which is really bad news because now we have these Trollhammer torpedoes and Thunderers both firing in, trying to aim at the characters. The Banshee does manage to finish off this unit of Thunderers, though, terrifying them away from the battlefield. Ironbreakers are going to retreat. The Ekron Miner is going to be used as a sacrificial lamb to allow the Ironbreakers to fall back. They can probably turn around now and throw those blasting charges in. They still do have the one volley. I think that's what the Dwarf player is going for here. Gotrek and Ungrim are completely surrounded. The Master of Beguilement has gone down. That's negative 40 melee attack, which is huge. He's going to try to counterpunch that with the Axe of Dargo and Red Ruin and still do some decent damage. But there's a lot of Cane Wraiths left on the battlefield. Gotrek is getting danger low. He does have the potential to get a lovely heal, though. The Rune Axe of Gotrek's gone down, giving that negative magic resistance, and he does magic attacks, and he gets the heal at the same time. Really good work by Gotrek, up to 104 kills. Ungrim Iron Fist up to only 40. Necromancer has managed to escape the main fight. Isabella is just staying way away from the battlefield, which you'd like to see. But the Thunderers have returned, and they're unleashing deadly salvos into her flesh. Now, the Banshee is being used to chase off the Thunderers. Can only be in so many places at one time. Now, the Iron Drakes have been shattered, so yeah, hunting down this unit of Thunderers would be super clutch. Runesmith is able to return. He needs to be assassinated before he's able to team up with the Dowie Hero Core once more. And I think the Vampire Counts will be in a decent position, and Balance Power certainly think so. Graveguard are starting to get a little bit beaten up now as the Ironbreakers do return, and we do get a Wind of Death go down onto the unit of Morgan Ironbreakers, and it catches them this time, eviscerating many a friend and many a foe. Definitely worth the value, though, because these Ironbreakers have started to win that engagement. Down now just to 36 models and 1.2k HP, up to 102 kills, though. We do get a Rune of Wrath and Rune go down on the Cane Wraiths. Lovely cast once more, so that Runesmith returning has already started to pay dividends. Isabella down to 939 HP. Simply can't catch a break. She's trying to retreat from the Thunderers, I think, or at least like juke back and forth. The Banshee is so slow at killing models that the Thunderers are just ignoring her and unleashing shots into Isabella. And Ungrim is on the warpath, comes in with a charge, a mighty overhanded axe swing, cracks the skull of Isabella as a volley comes in, and bam, down she goes. The Slayer King claims yet another victim, and that might switch this battle all of a sudden very heavily in the favor of the Dwarves. We still have this Banshee, but the Cane Wraiths without their leader will start to crumble really quickly, and the Ironbreakers are just holding firm. Banshee attempts to duel Ungrim and Gotrek, but remember, Gotrek does magic attacks here, and he is slapping the living crap out of this glorious Banshee, and oh my god, one hit from 800 HP down to like 200, and down she goes. And with that, the balance power, which looks so bleak for so long for the Dwarfs, is going to just slide all the way over to army losses. A fantastic game there and a very valiant defeat from the Vampire Counts. This is like the ultimate grindy matchup, but what makes it even more grindy is when someone brings Cane Wraiths and someone else brings Ironbreakers. That was insane. They were fighting for so long and just not going anywhere. Well played to Human Boy, well played to Charix. This was cast, as I said before, on a live stream, but it was such a good game. I really did feel like it needed to be cast once more. Awesome builds, awesome players. Well, I don't think either of these guys main these factions, so they kind of got chucked in the deep end with me picking their legendary lords and picking some sub factions for them to play in. Well played to both these lads, and I hope you guys enjoyed as well. We're going to look at the damage dealt and damage value of all of these units in just a second, but if you guys enjoyed, make sure to leave a big fat thumbs up, subscribe to the channel as well. It really helps out with growth a huge amount, and comment down below if you enjoyed this video and what you enjoyed about it, or just simply yell quack quack. And if you don't think this is the grindiest matchup in the game, because I think it's certainly one of them, let me know what you think is. I think this matchup's very grindy. Lizardmen versus Vampire Counts is also very grindy. Basically anything versus the Vampire Counts, you get a lot of bump and grind. There is links down below in the description to my Patreon if you'd like to support the channel, to my Twitch account where I do additional streams, as well as to my Discord where you can submit replays, get involved in tournaments, live streams, and all that good stuff. So, Human Boy, yes, how did he perform? Well, 967 damage value on Isabella, certainly not too shabby whatsoever. Necromancer, only 130 value on him, but he was basically there to be a bit of a mana battery. 430 damage value on the Banshee. I do think that first Wind of Death should have been used when the front lines are engaged. Once those Ironbreakers are engaged, then you pop it, because it's way harder for the Dwarfs to miss, kind of a dodge there. Zombies did a, okay job. They died. That was their job. And the Cane Wraiths, 300 value, 863 and 696. So again, not the most damage output, and that was a little bit of a problem. Once the Graveguard started getting a little bit low, it did start to lack a little bit of punch there. Graveguard of Great Weapons, 2,052 damage value. Ugh, that is disgusting. 1,300 on the next one, 1,100 and 888. 1k on the Sternsman. Now, the Fellbats did a decent job, just been harassing and chasing the enemy off the battlefield. For those who don't know as well, Human Boy Yes Yes is indeed a Total War content creator. You can check his YouTube channel out. It is just Human Boy, I believe, or maybe it's Human Boy Yes Yes. But if you type in Human Boy and Total War, you will find his channel. There's a load of really fun tournaments, live streams, and you should definitely get involved in some of his events. They're good for new players as well as experienced alike. As for Charax, another good display by him. He always performs really well every time I see him on the channel. And this is the moment of truth. Who got more damage value, Ungrim or Gotrek? Who is the better Slayer? Well, kills-wise, Gotrek dominated. 131 kills up against the 46 of Ungrim, but Ungrim did kill Isabella, and I think that was the biggest prize on the battlefield. He got 2,932 damage value up against the 1,708 of Gotrek, once and for all proving that Ungrim Iron Fist is the better Slayer. 1,200 damage value on the Runesmith is quite tasty as well. Very good for a support character, actually. Those Runes of Wrath and Ruin came in handy. Dwarf Warriors, decent kills, 84, 99, and 2. 420 damage value, 230 and 72. So they did get run over a little bit. Ekron Miners did a little bit better, 740 damage value, 592 from the Warriors of Dragonfire Pass. So both the Regiment of Renowns doing a solid job. As for the Ironbreakers, they're just such a solid unit all round. And if you can dodge those Winds of Death, you're absolutely golden. 131 and 114 kills. 1.6k damage value and 2,493 damage value there from the Norglins. I really do think they're one of the best units in the Dari roster. Thunderers, 1,163 damage dealt and 310, 236. So these two last range units didn't do too much, but the main unit here, the boys, 1,163, really is quite massive. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Until next time, peace, peace, and as always, stay awesome.